I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go on the Village, Facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. A challenge shall lead them.
Poll results are being posted as we speak. Okay.
Oh no.
So we are on to the next song on our
sir.
DJ stream.
Yes,
a DJ
sir.
stream is where you get to pick all the songs that we listen to that night. It has to be a minimum of 4. And our DJ tonight is DJ Mark.
Yes,
Shout out
DJ
to him.
Mark.
The next
Best
song on
of
his
all
list
time.
is Grown
Boop,
Below.
boop, 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 boop. Go ahead.
My Triumph.
Oh, wait, say that again, because people were hearing the boop, boop, boop.
Grown Below, My Triumph.
Grown
Let's go
below.
from super popular to very underground.
Okay.
This is one of those hidden gems and perhaps the closest to Lightbearer in sound.
Okay, Grown Below. You've never heard of this band before, but you will not be able to unhear them after today. Let's go.
That was another freaking epic band. Holy shizzle. What was going on with you?
It was another trip taker.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this Mark guy. Mark is like a they call them psychonauts, these people that go on DMT trips on a regular basis.
Yeah.
We keep getting dropped by YouTube, so we're gonna keep coming here.
When you guys, if you get booted out, because I keep getting booted out on my side too, because I'm watching the stream from my computer, so I can check the stream. So if that happens to you, I just close the tab and come back in. So.
No, we're good on our side. All our internet issues are fixed, y'all.
Yeah, I don't think it's.
All our stuff is perfect.
I believe it has to do with something else. There's a conspiracy. What was it? Vin joined the Illuminati. What are they?
All right.
Illuminati.
All right. Okay. So this one.
Oh, that water's so good.
Grown Below, My Triumph. My Triumph is the name of that song from the band Grown Below. What was going on with you there?
Okay, first of all.
What was going on with you from Grown Below?
It's the same thing as the last time, but it was just like a different sort of I felt very, very content listening to this song and happy.
Okay.
So,
what about the song made you happy?
I don't know. I just think that it was very well done. And I appreciated the excellence that was in it and just the way that I just felt like everything that followed the thing before fit perfectly. Again, I don't have any criticism for this band.
The arrangements.
Yes.
Yeah, the arrangements were great. Once again, they were very, very. I think the genre makes it so you can bet on your audience a little bit, because it is true. Like a lot of times, like sometimes when you write, like I remember one time, I was in school and like I had said something, but it was like way over the people's heads, so they thought it was trash. They didn't get it, so I had to kind of like. The next time I was in a battle, I was like, all right, I gotta dumb it down for these people, because otherwise I'm not
You're not gonna get recognized.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get recognized. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like,
yeah, because then you have to stop and explain the whole thing.
Jay-Z has this one song nobody knows about it, and it's a funny song. Like he's got a comedian on it, but he's rapping about shooting someone, but it is so densely packed with metaphors.
Oh.
It's the greatest rap song of all time as far as like lyricism, and it was just a throwaway song that he put it on. I think it was his Blueprint or something, but it was unbelievable what he was doing with words, and I knew what he was doing, but you almost had to be like from that area in that era to get everything about what he was saying. And I just remember listening to that song, and I just remember going, okay, Jay-Z's the greatest rapper of all time, period. These guys, what these guys can do with understated music, and then like it's like they mastered the concept of arrangements and understanding how one. Because really, when you say, "Oh, this is heavy" or "this is melodic," what are you saying? Well, you're saying that the arrangements is such that it makes me want to move. Mm-hmm. That's all you're saying when you're saying a song is heavy. When you say a song is heavy, it means the song makes you want to move
or break things.
It instigates movement to the point where the movement is going to be violent, because that's
right.
And so when you say a song is melodic, it's another kind of energy, right? That affects you in a different way. So, but these guys were able to still have that feeling of heaviness without necessarily, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's very, very, very hard to describe, but the sounds that these guys were making were crazy, instrumentally speaking.
I don't know if you remember, we were so limited. There was like short spans of time where we actually had TV that had cable attached to it. So I really couldn't even tell you what cartoon it was. I just remember that there would be cartoons where they could ride on the clouds. And like sometimes the character was like falling asleep and they'd like slip through and another cloud would catch them and they'd slip through and go on another cloud. And so like this song just kind of made me feel like that. It was like slipping from one sound to the next and it just like kept taking me to these different little places.
He keeps bringing up that band, Lightbringer or Lightbearer.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. Okay, so here's a thing that really separates Lightbearer to me from the other guys is their lyricism.
Oh.
Like the Lightbearer, the lyricism in Lightbearer is just on another. It's just a different, just another level. Like these are good songs. The arrangements are powerful, but they don't have the lyric. And I think Lightbearer does melody a lot better actually.
Oh, okay.
Than any of the bands that we've heard so far.
Okay.
So
I actually didn't look at the lyrics. I generally, when I listen to music on my own, I'm not a big lyric person. I go by the feel of the song, and then I pick what I hear out of the song. Doesn't necessarily mean it's what the artist said, and I'm good with that. And then after I enjoy the song like that for a while, then I go back and then I listen to it with the lyrics so I can hear all the words and then learn it. But I was actually... This was so cute. You guys will probably appreciate this. So I was listening to this one song and I loved it. And I rarely go into like other people's comment sections to read, but the song I thought was just phenomenal. I just couldn't believe how unbelievable the song was. And then I scroll down into the comment section and somebody said, "This song is so unbelievable. I just wish that I could forget that I heard it and re-listen to it." And then somebody else came in and said, "I take songs off all the time and they either speed it up a little bit or they turn it down a little bit and change the tone just a smidge so then the song kind of sounds new so they can re-experience it." I said, "That is great." That is a serious music lover to be able to do something like that. But I don't know. I'm just going to read the lyrics here. Ben is mocking you.
Could not believe how unbelievable it was.
Shut up, Ben.
That's great.
Well, the words I spoke opened my eyes when I woke. I live in silence, a room to contemplate. I praise myself and all I have and own. He sounds like the rich man in the Bible. And also like your
like
boy, what's his name? Ooh. LeBron James. They better.
I just gotta take some time to congratulate myself.
I want to be the first to congratulate myself. He said.
Later, Sean.
Be the first. Okay.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. He had to. LeBron. Shout out to LeBron. He had to be the first to congratulate himself.
Right.
What a weirdo. Shout out to the homie.
Well, the words I spoke opened my eyes when I woke. I live in silence, a room to contemplate. I praise myself and all I have and own. They better send you away. You're clearly waiting decay. You have entered your last call. You are intending to fall. My message to you all, you have entered your last call. No matter what they want, if I could, I would still do the same. If I could, you've read the book at last. If I could, I'd tear the book apart. I'm not reaching. I actually think these lyrics are kind of trash. Am I reading it shittily?
I don't think they're trash.
Shittily is a word.
I don't think they're trash. It's just it's not Lightbringer, but it looks to be.
I mean,
he says right here, the words I spoke opened my eyes when I woke. I live in silence, a room to contemplate. I praise myself and all I have and own. They better send you away. You're clearly waiting decay. You're waiting to die. You're just sitting here waiting to die. You're not really living. You've entered your last call. You're intending to fall. My message is to all. You have entered your last call. No matter what they want, if I could, I would still do the same. If I could. You've read the book at last. If I could, I'd tear the book apart. I'm not reaching. I will not be the one who's reaching. I'll be the one who's teaching. It looks to me like he's talking about, this is probably a guy who's sloughing off his religious heritage because they were, he grew up around a bunch of religious hypocrites and he came out of the closet right there. The words I spoke opened my eyes when I woke. So I think it's one of those things where you just finally come out and say it and you're like, and it's like vocalizing it finally makes it more real. So I think he finally got to the point where he was vocalizing his unbelief, and so in doing so it kind of confirmed the unbelief because it made it real.
I remember we were talking about that years ago, probably in the other life we had, and I remember you had said something about that because people would say, you know what, when I left religion, I felt so much peace.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
what about it?
It just reminded me, because of what you just said, it reminded me of that same thing when you would say that. Like how people would say they have peace when they left their religion. And you basically were saying that it was because there was this battle within them, whether they were going to stay with their original thought or they were going to change and do something else. And are we going to do this? Are we not going to do this? Are we not? And then when they finally said, you know what, I'm throwing off all religion and I'm going with this other train of thought, they felt peace because there was no longer that battle inside of them.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily mean that they have peace because they're in a safe or good place, but they were in turmoil. So you see, do you know what I'm talking about?
Who are you talking about?
What do you mean, who? I was talking to you. Oh, who was saying that they felt peace?
Yeah.
I can't remember. I almost want to say it was something that we were hearing, but it was like a thing where we heard it multiple times in a row where people were saying, once I got rid of religion, I felt so much peace. I want to say it had to do with some of those, like, I can't even think of his name. This is ridiculous. He's very popular.
Jordan Peterson?
No. He doesn't agree with our thought processes. And when you back it, like, he's big time in his circle, but if you back him up far enough, he's the same thing. He has to base everything off faith because he doesn't know where anything originated either.
Is this a Christian, an atheist?
No, he's an atheist.
Arn Ra?
No, we've never talked to the guy. We've just seen his stuff. Oh my word!
Where do we see it?
You see it on the. Whenever we watch stuff on atheism, he's like big up in the. I think he's also like into evolution and stuff like that.
I watch him regularly.
No, you don't watch him regularly. Just once in a while.
Okay, what did he say?
But I think he was one of the people that came to the point where when he decided he was done with religion, he had a lot of peace.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my word! I can see the guy's face. It's so annoying.
Dawkins?
Yes, Dawkins.
Yeah.
All I kept thinking was Darwin, and I knew it wasn't Darwin's. Wasn't it Dawkins that said that?
Yeah.
So, and then we had a conversation about it because I was like, well, that's a little alarming. Why is he feeling peace if he's going away from the peace giver? And then that's when you said, well, that's because there was like this battle within himself.
Well, yeah, there's a concept in the Bible of judicial hardening.
Thanks, Jambi.
Judicial hardening, which says that if you resist knowledge that you know to be true, then God does not owe you the ability to reason. Mm-hmm. Because God has only given you the ability to reason so that you and he could apprehend each other and have an actual relationship.
Right.
But since you want to marshal your thinking faculties against your creator, then God says, I'm not obligated to continue to let you reason reasonably. Mm-hmm. And so then you end up with, your foolish heart becomes darkened, and then people start, we end up in the situation that we're in right now. Look, say what you want, and believe what you want. But there's no way you can look at Joe Biden as a president and go, yeah, God's really pleased with that country. Look at the leader he gave them.
Yeah.
You're not looking at our current situation, our current problems in the current situation in the world, and you're looking at Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. I literally feel like me and you could do a better job.
Oh, we could, 100%.
Like, I literally feel that way.
For sure.
We're clearly under God's judgment. The fact that all that we had for choices was Hillary and
Trump.
I didn't want to rehash it, but yeah, no, it is an interesting type of situation, right? But this guy he's turning his back on it, and he's like, oh, good, you finally read the book, right? Like, again, that's why I'm saying, like, this person's is calling out a religious hypocrite, mm-hmm. right? And so you call out a religious hypocrite, and so it's like, oh, you finally read the book. You see what I'm saying? Like, it makes sense. So it looks to me like this is a guy, teenager, maybe young, early 20s, and he's finally let the cat out of the bag. Like, I don't believe any of this bullshit, Mom and Dad. You guys are hypocrites, and now I'm going to have my time. I'm going to be teaching you, because, parents usually teach the kids. And so there you go.
I actually think it's extremely healthy.
It looks like that.
For, within reason, I guess you could say. Maybe this is a totally irresponsible thing to say. But I think that it's...
Hold on. No, I'm never going to go away from politics and back to music. I'm never going to do that. Ever. Or religion. Go ahead.
I think that... where was I? Too many marks in the chat. Because Deccan is our DJ. He's like, too many marks in the chat. Okay, so I think that... Shoot, what was I going to say? What were we just talking about before?
I was saying that we're clearly under God's judgment. We've got Biden and Kamala as our presidents.
Oh, I think that it's healthy for people to be honest with where they really are and not fearing people around them and what they're going to think or say about them. Because I think that you can get further along in it. Because everybody's on their own journey. And, you know, you're at the start of your journey and at the end of your journey. You do your journey by yourself. And you kind of couple with people along the way. And you find friends and acquaintances and, you know, YouTube channels, you know. But at the same time, like, you're on your own journey. And your own journey is taking you to where your destination is. And so I think that, you know, especially if you grew up in a religious household, sometimes you can kind of be like, is this bullshit? And I think that it's important to be able to kind of explore that and see, you know.
Oh, if religion is bullshit.
Right.
Or if the religion you're following is bullshit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of times the environment of religion is constricted so that way people are less likely to leave it. So you kind of feel uncomfortable. You really have to like burn all your friggin' bridges to be able to say, I'm not sure what I think about this. And I don't think it should be like that. I think that there should be a, you know, I don't agree with this either, but like there's a group of people. I can't think of anything tonight. It's not the Amish, I don't think, where it's like bundling or something like that they call it or whatever. Like they hit a certain point where then they can go out and just like wreak havoc in the world and decide whether they want to come back and live with their family or carry on with their, you know what I mean, like that whole thing.
Sounds like the Amish thing, yeah.
And so, I mean, I'm not promoting that, but I do think that you have to be able to allow people to dig in and really look at what they believe and ask questions and doubt things. And even you see that with Jesus. When that guy came up to Jesus, he was like, Jesus said, do you believe? And the man's like, I believe, but help my unbelief. So that means he didn't fully believe. He had a lot of doubt. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and the stereotype is usually, religious parents, but you know, it seems to me that that's true across the board. I was just watching Stephen Meyer, and he had he had just deconverted this guy from believing in Darwinism at the macro level. And this guy's a credentialed guy, still an atheist or whatever he calls himself.
yeah.
But you know, Steve, I mean, everybody who's really in it knows that this is not a pristine theory that doesn't have gaps and whatever.
Right.
And so anyway, I'm watching these guys, and these guys they've got like 70 years. There was like 4 or 5 of them, and there was like 70 years of professorship between all these very intelligent people. But it was just very interesting watching. And there was another guy, and the other guy was like a career skeptic, and like his job was to be skeptical. So he's like, look, I'm skeptical of evolution too. Like, I haven't seen this shit happen. Like, how are we supposed to know? And it was kind of weird because we've done this a bunch of times on the channel. Like, people supposedly skeptical about religion, but believe all the other stuff, like, without even questioning it. So this guy, he was kind of weird. He had a cane. I don't know, it's kind of weird. And he was like, he was basically talking about the scientific community. Everybody's brainwashed because you can't say anything against Darwinism. The minute you do that, it's the end of your career, and you have to account for that. Mm-hmm. You have to, and that's one of the reasons why I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that. But that's why I said I'll say this. I do think the internet atheism, the Dawkins stuff, is going away. Mm-hmm. I really do.
Well, it has to.
I think somebody said in the chat, there's not a lot of substance to.
Right.
Now, if you want to read Nietzsche, or if you want to jump off a bridge, go read some Bertrand Russell. Mm-hmm. You know, what did he say? Unyielding despair was the only building materials we had to build the scaffold of our pathetic existence. Whatever the line was. It's horrible. So my point is like this thing where like you can't allow for a contrary view. Like, it goes both ways, and to me, the root of it is fear. Yeah. So, like, if a kid is reading Genesis 1, he goes to his mom and dad and says, yeah, but this doesn't square with, you know, you telling me the earth is 6,000 years old does not square with the 13.7 billion number that I heard all through school. How does this work? And if the parent says, well, that's because your teacher is an agent of Satan, it's not helpful. The teacher may be an agent of Satan, or your interpretation of Genesis 1 is wrong. Is that possible? And conversely, you go to these places or whatever, and you say, "Hey, I think there's a problem here with this model of evolution." Oh, you're crazy! Blah 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 blah. Let's just pretend Stephen Jay Gould didn't exist and punctuated equilibrium because they were serious. We're just gonna ignore all that. No. We're all unified, and you guys are dumb. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, I can imagine being. Can you imagine being a Christian kid who gets convinced of theism in a household like that?
Yeah.
Where there's all the snide remarks about how unintelligent creationists are and all the rest of it. It's the same effect. You see what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things where it's like human nature. It's so easy to point out the other side. So I'm looking at fuck those religious hypocrites. And then I'm like, it makes you pause a little bit as a parent and say, how much freedom do the kids have really to say? I mean, because they get to argue, they get to fight, they get to call a family meeting. But my thing is it enough? Do they have enough leeway? Because just because they have more leeway than your average kid doesn't mean that it's where it should be. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't really compare myself to average. The average parent wouldn't allow their kid to call it, because you can call a family, you can do anything. You can question anything in this house. You can do anything. I mean, there really is not much distinction between what rights a child has and what rights a parent has in this house, which makes her very upset. But
even the kids don't, they're given that, but they don't give it to the younger kids. They rule autocratically with the younger kids. I'm like, whoa.
Well, yeah.
Whoa.
Right.
This next, because we've got 4 older kids, and then we have 2 that are younger. And so the older kids, they there's like a hierarchy.
Yes.
We're the parents.
There you go, Mark.
Open up to discussion.
Yeah.
And then beneath them are the youngest ones. And sometimes I come around and I just see them be like, blah, they're laying down the law. I'm like, hold on. I mean, you've had a million discussions about whatever X, Y, and Z thing. Give that child. He's only 2. You know what I mean? You can't hold a 2-year-old to a higher standard than you hold your own self to, sir. Oh boy.
Yeah, the idea that science has nothing to do with.
Well, it's interesting.
I mean, that's. I don't believe that. But I understand why people say it.
Well, I think that people are scared because there are some times where science hasn't lined up with our understanding of the scriptures. And I think you're right. There's some times where you've interpreted that incorrectly. And that's on you. That's not on, you know what I mean? And you were the first person that said that Christians were the pioneers of science because they were saying we're thinking God's thoughts after him. So because there is an intelligent mind behind this, there has to be intelligent design behind whatever it is that you're studying. So I'm going to keep searching until I can figure out some pattern, something that makes sense. And that is how science really got started and took off. And so when you think about that, I remember, did I say something that you disagree?
No, I'm agreeing. There's certain assumptions you have to do science in the first place.
Well, yeah.
That's what Bertrand Russell would talk about induction. How do you know the law of gravity is going to be the law of gravity tomorrow? How do you know that? Mm-hmm. And it's, Bertrand Russell wrote this book toward the end of his life. Is basically unsolvable problems from our worldview. And induction, well, obviously was at the top of them. Obviously the hard problem of consciousness. But, it's really fascinating because people really don't see how religiously devoted they are to an idea.
I know.
So, for example, I talk about the hard problem of consciousness. They say the scientists are going to figure that out in the future. How do you know that? That's a faith claim.
Exactly. And we can't give an answer like that. If we don't have an answer for why we believe what we believe, and we were to say, well, God's going to give us the answer later, they'd be like, what?
Right.
What?
Correct.
This is madness. Look at these Christians.
And my only thing is just admit that you're a man or a woman of faith. That's my thing. Don't act like, oh, I'm a fact person over here, and you people are faith. Stop it.
Right.
You're not a skeptic. You're a regular person like most of us, and you've got biases that you want confirmed, and then you have things that you want to avoid that you want to deny, just like all of us. There are bad implications. Look, if Christianity is not true, there are some very bad and disappointing implications for me. right?
Yes.
But
that
if
is
Christianity
disappointing, to
is
put it
true,
mildly.
if Christianity is true, there are some very bad eventualities for Christopher Hitchens.
Yeah.
Because he's not an atheist now. That's what
Right.
I believe. Rest in peace to the homie. So what I'm saying is, I wish we would both, because that's how we can get some understanding. You're a man of faith. I'm a man of faith. There are conveniences for believing what you believe. There are conveniences for believing what I believe. There are inconvenient truths that will happen if you're wrong. Same for me. So we can function as equals, and then maybe we can get to the truth. But this whole silly idea that these people set up, where it's like, okay, we're the intellectuals, and man, come on, man. And then you could tell. I'm not gonna say that. See, the Lord censored me a lot today. Probably because of the people in the no. Where do you get the song?
Well, one more thing. One thing that I used to say. So, I don't want to dishonor my father when I'm saying my father. He's a simple sort of person, and he doesn't want to think too deeply into something. He doesn't want to feel confused or whatever.
Well, he's a man of his. I mean, it's Maine.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
It's Maine, and your dad had different focuses. He didn't
Right.
kind of like me, right? Didn't have a lot of education, but had a family, a pretty decent sized family he had to take care of.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like, he had a YouTube channel where he could spend 5 hours a day reading and shit. Go ahead.
Right. And well, he didn't have time for studying because he was building his business. So.
Shout out to the homie.
Right. Shout out to the homie. So anyway, my dad had always taught us, like, if somebody doesn't believe in the Bible, he said, then you don't have a leg to stand on. You can't even talk to them about religion or anything else. So I thought, okay, well, if that's true, then we're in trouble, because if someone doesn't believe in the Bible, then there's nothing that you can do to talk to them. So I remember talking to different people, and they were like, you realize that the earth is millions and billions of years old. Do you know how long it took the earth to get created? And I was like, I was saying, no, the earth is only 2,000 years old, because I was saying
2,000 was Jesus.
Well, yeah, but I was saying it was, I for some reason was thinking that prior to, it was a countdown that was 2,000 years, and then after Jesus was another 2,000. So then,
okay.
2,000 to Jesus, and then another, whatever after.
Yeah.
So they were like, no, that's not true. And then they were going into all the explanations of proving that the earth was extremely old. And I was like, well, that's not true. And they were like, how do you know it's not true? And I said that because the Bible said it was made in 7 days, and then we have a timeline going forward after that. And they're like, no, sorry. And they kept they tried a couple times, but because I had in the back of my head my dad saying, look, if they don't believe in the Bible, you have no leg to stand on.
I remember you told me that. I was like, what the hell are you what?
So anyway,
what do you mean?
Every time I said it, I just
well,
got more confident in myself as I was saying it, and I was like, no, the Bible, and what the Bible says, the Bible is truth. And then finally the person, I think they just...
Yeah, well, that's why the guy in
They
the
didn't
song,
tell me I was wrong.
That's why the guy in the song said, he said, I'll be the one who's teaching. That's the reason why, because you here it is. Satan somebody told me this. One of my guys, it was Sean, the guy that told me how to play guitar.
Yeah.
He brought this to me. Satan created the fossil record to hide the truth of young earth creationism. He said that's what some Christian told him. And
really?
Yeah. Because
I've never heard that. Sean, are you serious?
Oh yeah, Sean is one of those. But he was one of those guys. He's like, okay, if I'm gonna join the team, I gotta be in this shit, and I gotta know, because when he was teaching me guitar, he was writing this book called The Bible, a bunch of bullshit. That was literally the name.
Yeah, you told me that.
So I said, what the fuck? I said, what's that, man? And he started saying all this, inaccurate shit, but he said it very confident. Joe Rogan called it ignorant.
Actually, that sounds like that other guy you listen to. The one who goes, ooh, who is he?
Yeah, Lucas. Shout out to the amazing Lucas. Shout out to the homie.
Doesn't that look like a word he'd make up?
Yeah. Ignorant.
Ignorant.
Yeah,
okay.
so he was ha ha ha, all this other, and I said, well, blah blah blah. And then so then he became a Christian, then he was going on the other side. So he's looking at everything, and then, sure enough, fossil record came up, Genesis 1. I was like, there's this thing called theistic evolution. There's this thing called biologos. Go to biologos.com. You don't have to go there. Although there are serious problems with Darwinian, with macroevolution. There are serious issues.
Mm-hmm.
I shot it to one of my guys, and I said, "Yo, check this out. Is this bullshit?" And he didn't respond back to me. And usually when I send him something like, he's like, "Oh, that's bullshit because of this peptide or whatever." This again, not to say. I mean, Stephen Meyer. Meyer. Like right now, like folk don't know what to do with that guy. They really don't.
Really?
Yeah, they don't know what to do with him.
Well,
because he's causing some serious problems, and they're not. Folks are not like lining up to debate this dude. You know what I'm saying? So. Anyway, shout out to everybody. It was a fun song. I loved it. I'm still gonna say Light Bearer is my Biologos, inspiring philosophy, all that stuff. They're good resources if you really want to hear it. Okay, this song has got to get a 10 from me. It's got to get a 10. Look,
10.2.
I would have given it a 10.5, but Mark, you compared them to Light Bearer, and I'm sorry. I think Light Bearer is just still head and shoulders above everybody. Although I will say. You seem to be really enjoying this genre.
I am.
So, anyway, guys, sorry for the long review. Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone.
Oh, wait. The end of the poll.
Oh, the poll.
34% of our audience thought it was decent. 34% loved it. 19% hated it. And 12% thought it was top notch.
19 hated it?
Yep.
That was probably Ben. Ben probably...
voted a bunch of times.
Yeah, Ben probably
came in as
gave
Brian
himself
Walker.
18 different words, that evil bastard. We'll try it again. Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone. Adam Keene gave it a 6.9.
Did you see this one? Queen Vampire.
I got it.
She says, "What have I missed? We talking about Satan and Jesus and the Bible, and Ben is stating facts. Actually, now that I think of it, it's just another Vin and Sori stream."
Who said that?
Queen Vampire.
Is that Daniel? Who said that?
No, that's Queen Vampire.
Oh, Queen Vampire. I don't even... Oh, there you go. Daniel always has something fun. Evidence that Christians give is made using your preconceived notion and then is cherry-picked to fit the notion. The proper way is to create a hypothesis and test and come to a consultation. Daniel, who taught you the proper way to come to a conclusion? Daniel, are you... All right. Daniel is my friend, so I'm gonna enjoy my time with Daniel. Daniel, that was precious what you wrote, bro. Really, really precious what you wrote. I'm glad to see you're doing well, though. I'm glad to see you're doing well. We need more young people in the group. Daniel, are you playing? Do you play an instrument, Daniel? Ben goes, on the contrary, I have fun doing the things that you hate. Ben, how come you don't send me any of your originals? Huh? How come none of your originals have been sent to me yet, Ben? You bum? Oh, I see. Later, Orion's Protector. Okay, hold on. I think I need to give somebody... Oh, I need to friend Jambi. I think I think I owe you that, huh, Jambi? Let me see here. Let me try to find you. What do you mean not send you shit? I sent you the entire song. What do you mean?
Honey?
What? Nah, you didn't. What happened? You love me. Okay? I love you too, honey. I do play guitar. Okay. I have no idea what you're talking about, bro. I sent you the song. I sent you the whole thing, top to bottom, exclusive release. Then I gave you very, 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 very specific instruction on how to, do the other thing. But hey. Queen Vampire in the house.
What? Babe, can you send
BC.
that?
BC says, Christianity steals from all the other religions.
You mean like what?
You sent it in
Judaism?
MSS and it's compressed as fuck. Okay, I will send it to you in email, you bitch. I can tell already that our band relationship is going to be great, and that we are going to mute our bass guitar just like Metallica did, and we're going to have a classic record just like Metallica.
Yeah, Mark, I'm good with that. Out during the song. So the poll is going to happen after the song finishes, then I'll put the poll up.
Okay, so now look. DC says, Christianity steals from all other religions. Perk goes, wow, do you have examples? I guarantee you, they put up the Mithra, Horus, Isis stuff that's been.
Oh no.
Remember the time we had that famous guy on?
Yes.
And I kind of paused and I said, don't use that. Don't use that argument. I said, don't do that.
Whenever you have those moments.
B wanted to publish it.
Oh yeah.
He's like, no, we're gonna play this guy. We'll show him to be a fraud. I'm like, I'm not gonna bring him onto our show to embarrass it. Because we were nobodies at the time.
Yeah.
We were nobodies. Nobody knew who we were or whatever. This was like years and years ago.
Okay, one question. Are you saying you didn't do it because you didn't want him to be embarrassed? Or are you saying you didn't do it because you didn't want yourself to be embarrassed watching him say that?
Oh, no.
Terrible argument.
I didn't want to embarrass him.
You didn't want to embarrass him?
No.
Oh, that's nice.
No. Because like that whole brand is all, it's just about stunting and mendacity. It's not about like real serious. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he came out and threw all that shit out, and I had to say, ho.
It was like the other one.
I told Brian, it's like, we can't publish that shit, man. Do you think it's possible the Nakash was a rather than a seraphim, the imagery of the dragon in Revelation is rather similar to A&E dragons? Yeah, you brought that up before, and the only thing that's giving me pause is he's called a guardian cherub in, I think it's Isaiah or Ezekiel 14:28. But he is called a dragon. Yeah. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to go into my because I've got a couple memberships at a couple universities digitally, and I'm gonna go and because they literally have like 1 million articles. I'm gonna go and do a deep dive on that and get back to you, Perk, because that's really, really interesting. Okay, here we go, guys. Next song is on the way. Holy schmaloli. This is Sludge Day, I think it is. Is it Sludge? What is it?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Were you talking to Jambi?
No.
Is that what was happening?
No, I was talking to...
Wait, Vin out!
Sori out.
Down!